the Judeo-Mortals or the Berber Jews had been there since the Roman era. You know how close it is to Morocco, so we like it's likely they were traveling back and forth, just like somebody going from Jersey to Philly or NY to
Mhm.
Jersey. You know what I mean? But
Mhm. Mhm.
they were Moors were definitely there before the Muslim Moors came through and established, you know, their sovereignty there. So some of the concepts people have where they think that 7-Eleven is the first time Moors are in Iberia, it's not accurate, but the Muslim powers for sure um, showed up in that era. It's also noted that many of the Judaist morals identified as being Israel. You know
Mhm.
what I mean?
Mhm. Mhm.
So,
Absolutely.
um, the
Absolutely.
the Hebrew Israelite flow is part and parcel of
Yeah.
the Moorish paradigm. You know,
Absolutely. However, it was the Muslim Moors who provided protections for the Judeo-Mortals in agreements and treaties and relations with the Christians. And a lot of times, we're going to have to dig into this probably the next show as well, as going over Christian Europe and how Christian Europe was Moorish before it was the quote unquote pale Europeans, right?
yeah, Black
Because a
Madonna,
lot of times,
Black Madonna.
right, Saint Maurice,
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
know,
Yeah, we're gonna have to touch on Europe. Black Europe, Moorish Europe. You know what I
yeah.
mean? I had to touch on
Yeah,
that.
and the Judeus Mortis was in Europe prior to the Muslim Moors coming up
Right,
there.
right. Since at least Roman times. But I remember a citation from a historical book, or at least a book put out by a historical scholar years back that mentioned Taharka sending
Yeah,
lead into Brittany to mine for
yeah, yes, absolutely,
the prep
absolutely.
Europe goes back
Yeah,
and goes back.
I mean, even before Taharka, we can go to Akhenaten's daughter Skoda or Skada
Hmm.
fleeing
Yeah,
upon his murder to what is known as Scotland. That's where they get the name Scotland from because
ain't Scotland.
it's
Scope.
from it's come from Akhenaten's daughter.
Hmm.
You know what
Hmm.
I mean? And that's
Yeah.
the 18th dynasty. Taharqa don't come around until the 20th.
That's interesting because the first Masonic lodge was in a Christian monastery in Scotia or Scotland. You know what I
Mm.
mean? There's some history we're gonna have to
Yeah,
and
the earldom of Moray.
yeah, yeah, we're gonna have to dive into that.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know.
yeah, 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 yeah. We got so much ground to cover, man. So it's endless. It's endless.